11 Things We Loved About Talene and Saro's Wedding Day. Brought to you by Ani Studios' creative team. Number 1. All things Armenian, all the time. From the moment we heard the names Talin and Saro, we had a feeling this wedding was going to be proudly, unapologetically Armenian. And oh, were we right. This wasn't just an Armenian wedding in name, it was a heartfelt homage to heritage, woven into every corner and moment of the day. The festivities kicked off with some modernized version of Armenian traditions at the bride's home, where things and people were exchanged with green papers in broad daylight. The wedding invitation was a work of art designed in both English and Armenian, complete with beautifully ornamented initials inspired by ancient Armenian scripture. Sleep tight, mesrop mashtots, for Talin and Saro are awake. And just when we thought we'd seen it all, we spotted a one-of-a-kind Armenian alphabet textile right under the wedding cake, because what better way to say sweet new beginnings than with sweet letters of your mother tongue. From the Armenian music all around to shurjpar dances, this was more than a wedding. It was the joyful birth of a new Armenian family, and we found ourselves lucky to be capturing it. Number 2, a color story worthy of a mood board. Who knew that dark green, gold, Bordeaux, and pink could look like they were destined to be together? Talene and Saro clearly did. Their color palette was anything but cookie cutter. It was bold, elegant, and incredibly well thought out. From the bridal party's dresses to the tiniest details scattered throughout the venue, this theme popped up like a stylish signature. The floral arrangements by Montebello's own M's Flowers were a masterclass in contrast. Lush pinks and Bordeaux tones nestled against rich greens, with gold accents tying it all together like a romantic little bow. And let's not forget Saro's fashion-forward brown suit, perfectly paired with a statement tie that somehow managed to whisper dapper sophistication while still shouting, "I came to celebrate." And boy, oh boy, he did. Number 3, a double dose of classic car cool. Classic car? Yes, please. 2 classic cars? Now you're just spoiling us. Talene's dad clearly wasn't messing around. This man brought vintage prestige to the party with not one, but 2 head-turning beauties. First up was a 1959 Cadillac Series 62 Coupe, the kind of car that makes even the most modern Tesla turn its head in respect. Long, low, and dripping in chrome, it was the ultimate backdrop for some seriously cinematic shots. Photographer's dream, really. But then came the real showstopper, a turquoise 1954 Chevrolet Bel Air convertible that basically demanded its own red carpet. With its vibrant color and timeless curves, it didn't just transport Talin, it transported all of us straight into a mid-century American dream. Let's just say, if these cars had horns, they would have tooted in vintage Morse code. This wedding has style. Number 4, a first look with flowers, feels, and coffee. Talene and Saro's first look wasn't just a photo op, it was a vibe. Instead of the usual high-traffic hotel hallway or bustling venue lobby, Talene planned an intimate moment in the lush, flower-filled backyard of her parents' home. As Saro stood surrounded by blooms that perfectly matched their wedding palette,
Color coordination level expert.
she made her way toward him in her gown, tapped him gently on the shoulder, and, cue the collective gasp, magic. But this couple didn't stop at the emotional reveal. Oh no, they followed it up with a serene pause over Armenian coffee, served in traditional cups, because of course, even their caffeine had culture. It was the kind of peaceful, grounded moment that reminds us all, the best weddings aren't rushed, they're lived, slowly and beautifully. Number 5, a musical journey, from duduk to disco. Thanks to the endlessly talented Greg Hoshiarian and his talented band of musicians, Talene and Saro's wedding soundtrack will be unforgettable. They began the day with rich, traditional Armenian melodies that filled the air with soul and nostalgia. Greg's accordion was perfect for a ceremonial start. Add Zerna Doll to the equation, and there you got yourself an amazing traditional vibe that plays well from home all the way to the entrance moment into the banquet. But then they flipped the script. As soon as the reception kicked off, Hoshiarian's band morphed into a full-blown 70s disco machine with a few classic Dash Douche songs thrown in to keep the light bulbs rolling. Think Tata meets ABBA, and somehow it works. From Zerna to Zeppelin, this band nailed the vibe. They didn't just provide music, they curated the emotional rhythm of the night. And let's just say, it slapped. Number 6, turning Taylor Ranch Park into a fairy tale set. At first glance, Taylor Ranch Park might look like a cozy little patch of grass tucked behind Montebello's Armenian church, a sweet local spot, but not exactly Versailles. But with a little creative vision, 2 stunning classic cars, the majestic church rising in the background, and, well, just the right amount of Photoshop finesse, it transformed into something out of a dream. The result? A photo shoot that feels like it was lifted straight from a high-end editorial spread. We're pretty sure these photos are going to be printed large, framed well, and admired often for generations to come. Number 7, a packed house with phones not in the air. Let's be honest, it's not uncommon these days to see a wedding ceremony unfold to the soundtrack of shutter clicks and the glow of phone screens, while several lonely benches sit quietly in the church. But Talene and Saro's wedding flipped that trend on its head. The Holy Cross Armenian Apostolic Cathedral was packed to the brim, not just with bodies, but with hearts fully present. Friends, family, and loved ones showed up in force, filling every pew and soaking in the ceremony with their own eyes instead of through a 6-inch screen. Sure, there were a few discreet snaps here and there. We're not monsters, but for the most part, people trusted the pros to do the filming and chose to actually witness the moment. It was beautiful, refreshing, and, dare we say, kinda revolutionary. Number 8. Let them eat cake with Lego people and monsters. Who says wedding cakes have to be all roses and romance? Talene and Saro clearly got the memo that fun is the new classy and conveyed that properly to their pastry chef at Marine Cafe, because their cake was an absolute show stealer. Front and center, tiny Lego versions of the bride and groom, probably their 2 beloved dogs, and, because why not, a giant AT-AT from the Star Wars universe. It was quirky, clever, and unmistakably them. In a world of buttercream perfection and floral minimalism, this cake said, "We have a sense of humor, and also, we really love our dogs." It had guests laughing, snapping pics, and secretly rethinking their own cake plans. Delicious and delightful. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Number 9. From background props to mic-dropping stars. Up until this point, the bridal party had been dutifully posing in photos, smiling on cue, and generally looking fabulous. But then came speech time, and suddenly they transformed from background beauty to full-blown headliners. Each took the mic and spun their own take on the couple's love story, delivering a mix of drama, humor, nostalgia, and a few over-the-top moments worthy of an Oscar nomination. But the speech that truly stole the show came from the bride's brother, who barely got a word out before emotion took over. In a deeply touching moment, Talin rushed to his side to comfort him, and just like that, the whole room melted, tears flowed, hearts swelled, and for a moment, even the unrelated waiters looked like they needed a tissue. It was unforgettable. Number 10. Forget the garter toss. Pass the pigskin. Who says wedding traditions can't get a little sporty? Saro, proudly repping his Miami Hurricanes fandom, decided to put his own twist on the classic garter toss by swapping the garter for a football. And not just any football, mind you, but one proudly marked with the Hurricanes logo, making it the ultimate prize for any fan in the crowd. The moment he stepped onto the dance floor and raised that ball, the vibe instantly shifted from reception to fourth quarter. Suddenly, single guys who had previously been just here for the cake were stretching, squatting, and getting into full wide receiver mode. It was unexpected, hilarious, and somehow totally perfect. Leave it to Saro to bring game day energy to wedding day magic. Number 11. A first dance that hit all the right notes. Talene and Saro didn't just have a first dance, they owned it with grace, poise, and just the right amount of rehearsal room magic. The couple opened the dance floor with a slow, romantic number that had everyone swooning and a few guests sneakily Googling dance lessons near me. Then the real surprise came as Talin broke into a solo Armenian dance, elegant, confident, and totally captivating. So it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that her moves served as a metaphor for the whole day, full of grace, Armenianness, and lots of love. And let's not forget that all of this wouldn't have been possible without the help of the 2 dedicated ladies from Robert's Catering, whose calm coordination and behind-the-scenes hustle kept everything running like clockwork. From heartfelt traditions to unexpected twists, Talene and Saro's wedding was a perfect reflection of who they are: joyful, stylish, deeply rooted in culture, and full of love. It was a day that reminded us why we do what we do at Ani Studio, to capture not just the events, but the essence of a couple's story. We're so honored to have been part of this unforgettable celebration, and we wish the beautiful couple a lifetime of love, good health, and laughter.